Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. How are you doing today? Hope you are having a sunny day. Ready for some new drama from Ask a Lawyer? Let's go to the first one, about OP's greedy uncle, who demands OP shares inheritance she received from her grandmother's friend, because he thinks she would have wanted OP's cousins to have that inheritance too. Yeah, sure. Listen to the story, guys, to find out the details, and of course to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. The inheritance I received was from a friend of my grandma's. Basically, my grandma passed away when I was 4 years old. I have several pictures from when I was little, where I'm wearing crocheted cardigans that my grandma made for my sister and I. We still have these cardigans, but 25 years later, they're not in the best condition. My sister found out she was pregnant with my niece and said that it would be really cute if I could make some more cardigans for her. I'm the only person in my family that crochets. I thought it would be a brilliant idea, and my mom and I looked through all my grandma's old things to try and find the pattern for the cardigan my sister really liked. Well, we couldn't find it, but my mom remembered that my grandma and her friend used to share crochet patterns, so maybe it was one of hers. We live in a fairly small town, so I reached out to some of the older members of the local church to see if they knew if my grandma's friend was still local or not. She would have been in her late 80s at this point, so there was a good chance she was still around. Well, I found her, and I gave her a call, and she invited me round for a cup of tea and to pick up the patterns. This was 5 years ago. Over the years, I visited her at least once a month. She has gifted me several of her patterns, as her daughters don't crochet. My mom and I have become good friends with her daughters. She has met my niece several times, and I've crocheted various items for her great-grandchildren. She unfortunately passed away in January 2020. She left me a fairly large sum of money in her will, approximately £225,000. Her daughters were happy with this, as they said I was a good friend to her, and she had told them that she wanted to help me financially, but knew I wouldn't accept the money when she was still alive, which is true. When I got the money, I paid off some debt I had, paid off my sister's car finance, and put the rest in savings so I can look at getting a house in the future. My uncle, my mom's brother, has recently found out that I received an inheritance from this lady. He thinks I was being sneaky by not telling him that I got the money. He believes the only reason I got the money was because she was friends with my grandma, and she would have wanted the money to go to her 3 grandchildren, myself, my sister, and cousin. I have received a letter from my uncle on my cousin's behalf that says they're going to take me to court for fraud and theft if I don't give my cousin his rightful share. It was recorded delivery, which was a little weird. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to give him the money? Even though I know part of the reason she left me the money was because I'm my grandma's granddaughter. OP's uncle is greedy and poorly informed. The reason the letter did not come from a solicitor is because there's no legal recourse for breaking the will. He's attempting to get the money by threatening to sue. He's hoping the fear of a lawsuit will make OP share the money. She did not give OP the money because OP was her grandmother's granddaughter. That is the reason why OP met 5 years ago. She gave OP money because they bonded, and she wanted to give OP the money. OP did not have to share with her sister, and she does not need to share with her cousin. And now let's see if the community agrees with me. JXHer123 says, "Not the a-hole. What does your cousin have to do with anything in this scenario? No relationship to the friend of your grandma. They are chasing after money, and I would look a lawyer up just in case. Like others have said, check, ask for legal advice on what to do. What do they mean by rightful share? It was specifically given to you, not them." Neuroctopus says, "Not the a-hole. The mental gymnastics required to think the cousin deserves the money is Olympics level. That being said, the registered mail thing is a very clear indication that they plan to try to fight. I personally doubt they'll be successful, but of course I don't have all the facts. Just be aware, which means do not talk about the situation at all, with anyone, not even the cat, until you consult a local probate attorney." Update. Thank you all for the advice. I've been trying to read all the comments, so I'll try to answer some of the questions here. I told my mom about the letter I received, and she is absolutely fuming. Neither my mom or my sister have talked to my uncle or anyone else about the inheritance, although my friend's family very kindly mentioned me in the obituary in our local paper, so maybe he looked into it from that. She was a very rich woman, so maybe he thinks I got more than I did. As far as I'm aware, my friend only knew about my cousin in the same sense that she was aware that my uncle had a son. My cousin was about 6 months old when my grandma passed, so I don't think my friend ever met him either. I'm well aware that my uncle is very entitled. He made a great fuss over my grandma's will, demanded he get a bigger share as he was the most in need. My uncle is the head teacher of a primary school. He owns several properties, so he is not a stupid man, nor is he in financial need. Either way, he's pissed off the wrong people. My mom gave me the contact details of a probate lawyer in the next town, and I've given him a call this morning. Apparently my uncle went to school with him, and the lawyer was left with a less than favorable impression of him. So he said that he would gladly put a response together for me. He said a cease and desist letter should do the trick. He laughed for a good couple of minutes when he heard what my uncle was threatening. About 4 years ago, my cousin married a woman who I felt was a gold digger. Recently, they finalized a divorce, and he got pretty screwed financially. He will still be fine. He found out I had made comments about her before they got married, and got upset with me for not talking to him about it. Some background. My cousin is a pretty successful guy, started multiple tech companies, and made a bunch of money at a young age. When he started dating his wife, I suspected she was in it for the money. My assumption was always that he knew what the deal was. He's a highly intelligent guy, but he's pretty socially awkward and not conventionally attractive. She seemed like a materialistic, wannabe Instagram model. It was pretty obvious to me, but I was happy for him for getting attention from an attractive woman. Might as well have some fun after all his hard work, right? Well, not long after they started dating, I heard they got engaged. My mom shared the news with me, and my immediate reaction was less than enthusiastic, so she cried. I told her it seemed like his fiancée was only interested in his money, but conceded that I don't see them enough, living in a different city, so maybe things are better than I think. She scolded me for saying that, and I felt like a bit of an a-hole. My family seemed to really like her, so I never brought it up again. They got married, had a kid, etc. Well, the divorce happened and it was not amicable. I guess she got a lot of his assets, like millions. She's also being very difficult about their kid. My mom and aunt, his mom, approached me on my last visit home and asked how I knew years earlier. I told them I felt like it was pretty obvious, and I was honestly surprised no one in the family felt that way. Then a couple days later, my cousin approached me. He felt like I was talking crap behind his back. It was literally that one time, and I should have talked to him about it. I'm kind of annoyed that he found out about what I said, but my mom and aunt are notorious for having big mouths, so I should have known better. I also don't think I'm close enough to my cousin that he would have taken me seriously. He feels like I could have saved him from a miserable marriage experience, losing a bunch of assets, and having to now deal with child custody issues. My mom and aunt aren't too happy with me about it either, even though my mom basically stopped me from saying anything. So, am I the a-hole? OP did nothing wrong, because it was only a suspicion OP had, not proof, and he wouldn't have believed OP, because he was in love, and OP had no hard evidence. I think it would have just caused a fight, and OP would have been left the guilty one. It's also not wrong to vent such suspicions to a different family member. And now let's hear the community's opinion. Desecrator says, not the a-hole. If you'd said these things at the time, he wouldn't have listened and probably would have hated you. Sometimes you don't approve of someone's significant other, but it's not your job to try and control an adult's relationships. This was something he had to find out for himself. Waterslide33 says, not the a-hole. You had feelings about his wife, but you weren't sure, and you had no proof. I'm sure that if you said anything to your cousin, he would have told you to get lost, and he would have been right. Who were you to interfere in his marriage and criticize his wife? Now we know you were right, and your cousin must be frustrated and angry. He thinks you could have saved him from his catastrophic divorce. But it's his way of getting through this difficult time. He has to find someone to blame. Distinct Assignment 81 says, is she a gold digger though? I mean, he got S and companionship, and a child from a woman that he wouldn't be able to get normally, and you were totally okay with that. And she got more money than she'd probably be able to earn. Fair enough, even exchange, which makes you not the a-hole in my opinion. Background. My ex-wife and I divorced several years ago. We needed to divorce as we just couldn't make things work between us. But there was also a cloud of adultery on her part, but I didn't know the details at the time. After the divorce, I was made aware that she had been seeing a supervisor at her school since before we divorced. She's a teacher and he's an administrator. I'll call him Dr. A. That kind of relationship is against work rules in her school district. My ex and I talked very infrequently, but it's only when she wants something. She called me a couple of months ago demanding that I give her something that was already settled in the divorce. I told her no and suggested that she just ask Dr. A for one. She blew up and the call ended shortly after. About 2 weeks ago, I received a cease and desist letter from her attorney saying that I would be sued for libel or slander if I ever shared with anybody the nature of her relationship with Dr. A. The letter had a CC to the school superintendent, the director of counseling services, Dr. A's boss, and her school principal. I suspected the letter was complete BS, so I made a photocopy of it and sent it to the copied recipients. They had received it already, right? My phone is blowing up now with all kinds of ugly texts and messages. Apparently, they weren't really copied, as I suspected. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Criminally stupid to have an affair that could end your career. If they continued the relationship knowing it was against policy, for good reason, then they got what was coming. You didn't do anything except call their bluff. Serves them right. Self-Anew says, if you would send it on your own to those people without the copy note, you're the a-hole. Since the letter claimed they were copied, and you just sent what would have been a second copy of information they already had. Not the a-hole. Risa226 says, not the a-hole. Who would add a CC to these people? The people who have the power to fire ex-wife and Dr. A? You don't think he might go, yo, did you get a carbon copy of this letter? Also, I would contact the lawyer to see if the letter is legit, especially the CC part. If the CC is something she added herself without consulting her lawyer, she's ducked. I, female 30, is single and child-free by choice. I date occasionally, but no long-term relationships. This is due to many reasons, like I love my freedom. I want to enjoy my life unencumbered with responsibilities and want to really focus on my career. My older brother, male 34, got married when he was 26. He has 2 kids, female 7, female 4. They had a traditional household. He wanted a partner who stayed home and looked after the family while he earned. She had apparently dreamed of being a homemaker and taking care of children. But during the last couple of years, she showed signs of hating it. She wanted to study more and work outside, build something of her own. But my brother refused to step up or help. I warned him once, but he told me it's none of my business how he runs his household. I kept my mouth shut since. His wife left him a month ago. She just wrote him a letter saying she can't do this and wants to explore her life. She left kids with him and basically vanished. We have no idea where she is. Thing is, my brother doesn't know how to do even the most basic things. He is the kind of guy who never changed a diaper or toasted bread. The moment my brother found that his wife left, he called my mother, who rushed in to save the day. She thought it was short term and my sister-in-law would be back, but she hasn't. My father is unwell and needs her home soon. They live hours away. My brother suggested she take kids home with her. My dad said no. He is retired and they are both getting old. He does not want to have kids in the house full time, taking up her time and energy. Since that was a no-go, my brother asked me to either move in with him to help out or take kids in with me. I refused. From what I see, he is a grown adult and these kids are his responsibility. I made a choice to live the way I do, and I do not want to sacrifice my life for his choices. My family is pressuring me into this, saying stuff like how my brother doesn't know how to take care of kids, the little girls need women in their life, how family helps family, etc. My brother is calling me cold-hearted for not even trying to help him. Am I the a-hole? Is she okay? In the post I had given, no one knew where she is based on info I was given by my mother. She told me they had communicated with sister-in-law's parents as well. Hearing that she had taken all her documents and per her note, I trusted she had gone somewhere where she can study and make something of herself. But a lot of comments had me questioning about it all. Many of you wanted to file a report as a missing person. What I realized is, me and my parents not filing it made sense. We know and trust my brother. But why didn't my sister-in-law's parents file a report? They should have been more suspicious, right? So I called sister-in-law's mom. She didn't sound worried or sad, so I was more suspicious. I asked if she knew where sister-in-law is. She said they don't know. Sister-in-law did not say anything to them, etc. I told her I would be filing a report today then, so we know she is safe. Her mom panicked at that and told me not to, that sister-in-law will come home when she is ready. I told her I have to file a report unless I know she is safe. She kept insisting I don't have to. It was very suspicious. 5 minutes after my call, I got a call from an unknown number. It was sister-in-law. She was panicking and more or less begged me to not file a report. Turns out she was in another state, crashing with distant family. She really did want to go to college, and my brother was not letting her. She had a huge fight with him about all that the week before she left. She was really depressed and feeling stuck. Her parents loaned her some cash through a church friend who also helped her go away. She begged me not to file a report, saying he will sue her for child support, and she can barely support herself and go to college. I told her abandoning her kids was wrong. She was crying when she said she knows and hopes they can forgive her. She really couldn't live this life anymore. Leaving them was the hardest decision she ever made, but she felt it was better than taking them and letting them starve with her. At least here they have home and family. I did ask why she couldn't just divorce my brother then. She said she did not have money for a lawyer or anything, no home to return to. She's not proud of it, but she just couldn't stay and fight. She did not tell me where exactly she is, did not want to risk it, asked me not to give her number to my family. I did tell her the situation with her kids. She just said my brother will figure it out. She cannot help in any way right now. She will come back to her babies when she can. Witty commentator says, "Not the a-hole. It's kind of a shame that his wife couldn't sit him down and make him realize this changes or I'm leaving. But that's not your fault. You even warned him and he refused to listen. I feel sorry for the girls that their father is trying to foist them off on anyone who's willing to take them, or even someone unwilling. But that's not your fault either. I don't think you should have to sacrifice your life to be his nanny. He can take some parenting classes. If he makes enough money to afford one parent to be stay-at-home, maybe he can hire a part-time nanny. Don't let your family guilt you into this. None of this is your responsibility." Blueberry Yogurt Cup says, "Not the a-hole. He's not asking you to help. He's asking you to give him your entire life to take over his responsibilities for him. Helping would be coming over for a couple of hours and teaching him how to do laundry and basic cooking, showing him where to look online to learn more about basic cleaning chores, or where to research about hiring help. He doesn't just want help. He wants a housekeeper, babysitter, cook, and maid to replace the one that left him because of his disrespect for her. And he wants a family member so he won't have to pay." When the Night Is Gone says, "Not the a-hole. He's not asking for help. He's asking you to take over. He is perfectly capable of learning how to take care of the mess he created. But he is choosing not to because he's been enabled for too long. Asking for help would mean knowing what he even needs help with. All the people pressuring you to help, tell them if they think he needs help so much, what are they personally doing to step up?